We're at a local music studio focused on an upcoming beach music event. We'll tell you all about it coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're in Quinby, South Carolina at Bradley House Studios. We're focused on the Long Bay Symphony presents Legends of Beach Music. And we're visiting with Billy Scott of Billy Scott and the Prophets, a singer, entertainer, actor, record producer, everything, and even probably as important as anything, a founder and chairman of Beach Music Association International, which has a lot to do with why this weekend's event is going to be such a big success. Billy, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning to you. And that was an awful lot to say about me. I didn't know I had accomplished all of that. I didn't realize it.
It takes a few years. That's right.
That's a long list. A few years is right.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few. You've been performing for how long, Billy?
37 years.
Is that
38 in September.
It's more than many people's lives. Not to date you.
That's true.
Forgive me. You're as youthful as they come. So
well, I've been blessed. I still look pretty youthful, but I'm 60 years old and happy.
Are you serious, Phil? You're 60 years old?
Yes, sir.
That's amazing.
I was born October 7th, 1942.
Viewers, I don't know if you can see exactly. This is amazing. This man's 60 years old. I don't know how strong the cameras are, how in tune they can get to you. I am face to face with you, and I can say that I can't imagine you're 60 years old. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been blessed to have 60 years on this earth.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Really. Real quick, for viewers who may not know you or may not have seen you perform throughout the PD or southeastern North Carolina or on the Strand, are you originally from the area?
No, I'm not. I'm originally from Huntington, West Virginia. West by God, Virginia. Got to make it right.
How long have you been in the Carolinas?
I lived in Georgia for about 16 years. Left there, moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, lived there for a number of years, and moved to Charleston, South Carolina, lived there for about 2 years.
Right.
Left Charleston and moved to Atlanta, Georgia. Stayed there for about 5 years. Then I moved to Gaffney, South Carolina after a divorce. And then I moved back to North Carolina and got married again, and now I live in Raleigh.
Is that right? You're in the
Yes.
Triangle.
So I'm in the Triangle, yes.
Great.
So I'm in the Carolinas for quite a few years, off and on.
Was your first involvement with music, Billy, 37, soon to be 38 years ago, or had you gotten involved in music well before actually performing for the first time?
Long before that, I should say. I started when I was about 14 years old. I loved music because of my parents. My parents sang a lot, and then we listened to the radio. Actually, I think we were pretty much raised on country music in the beginning, being from West Virginia. And secondly, some of the pop music or rock and roll or whatever at that particular time. And then blues. Got a lot of blues. My mother's best friend, she liked the blues. My mother liked rhythm and blues. She liked the Drifters, the Platters, the Clovers, those type of groups. Excuse me. But so I heard a lot of it. So by the time I reached 14 years old, my brother, my best friend, and myself started a group called the El Domingos.
The El Domingos.
Yeah. It lasted about 5 minutes. Because my best friend couldn't sing that well.
Oh, wow.
My brother was a very, very, very good singer. But it didn't last long. And that was my first little encounter with a group, starting my own group. And we sang a lot. But we sang on street corners a lot, too. We never sang in any public places, any venues, public venues. We never did that at 14. So we stayed on the street corner for a while.
And this was in Huntington, West Virginia.
Yes, sir. Sure was.
You still have family back there, Billy?
I have a few cousins that live there. Other than that, the rest of my family have moved south and north. I have family in Ohio, in New York, and in Maryland, and D.C. area.
So you first realized you wanted to be in the music industry Back when you first began performing full time or performing on a regular basis 37, 38 years ago, is that when you really realized music industry was going to be something you were going to focus on? Or
I think I decided that when I was in the military. I was in the U.S. Army for 3 years.
Oh, really?
Served my country for 3 years, and when I came out, man, I used to sing, put little groups together in the military and sing. So when I got out, I got this little job. I was married and got a little job and had a kid, and my wife and I, Barbara, we did backup vocals in the recording studios around, around Augusta, Georgia, at that particular time. And then Tommy Witcher was looking for some lead singers for his little band. We were approached by the guy that had to going to do the background vocals in the studios. His name was Roy Smith. He ended up writing all of our hit records. So Roy got with Tommy, and Tommy said, "We'll pay you guys," and I guess the rest of it's history, because I've maintained the same name for 38 years.
I was about to ask how you were introduced back then when he was doing that.
Actually, the group started off was named the Scotsman.
Like
had nothing to do with my last name.
Oh, you're kidding.
Had nothing to do with my last name.
The Scotsman had nothing to do with the fact that you were Billy Scott.
Nothing to do with my last name, because at that particular time, my last name wasn't even Scott.
Huh.
Oh boy, that's another story.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you on another time.
That's another story.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, wow.
So soon after, I think a couple of months after we started with the band, they came up with the name Prophets. Went with that. It's been that ever since.
And the type of music you were performing, Billy, what kind of music were you all singing at that time?
Soul music.
Soul music. Yes.
Yeah. Soul music. It's been changed to beach music.
Huh.
When we were singing, when we were coming along, it was soul music and R&B. And somebody came up with the bright idea that they changed it to beach music, and it's because of the fact that particular music was called race music at that particular time, and the kids' parents, the white kids' parents, didn't want their kids listening to that music.
Wow. Huh.
Because you had Pat Boone singing Fats Domino's music, and you had people like Ricky Nelson singing some other soul songs, covering these soul songs, and they were on popular radio, and the kids, it wasn't as exciting as Fats Domino and Little Richard.
I'm sure.
So they heard these songs down at the beach, brought them home with them, and they play them at their little parties that they would have in their basement at home or in the living room. So that was one of those things, and they renamed it. In the Carolinas, they called it beach music, but it was soul music and R&B. Maurice and I have talked about this a lot. Maurice Williams and I.
Yes.
And we love the term. We've grown to love the term beach music because it's been good to us.
And obviously, when folks think of beach music, it connotes lots of different thoughts. And there's an industry recognition of beach music. Is there a way to recognize beach music leaders or folks who have beach music hits? Is there a vehicle to help recognize that? Is Beach Music Association International a vehicle? Is that an award vehicle, for instance, for each year? There's something else I think you were involved with or helped found and have received a ton of awards from. Yes,
I was the founder of the CAMI Awards, which is an acronym for Carolina Magic Music Years. And it's still going on. I resigned a couple of years ago from that to start the Beach Music Association International. And that award show gives all these folks a pat on the back or accolades for a great album or the best singer, the female vocalist, or best male vocalist, or whatever you do these awards, and that helps them a lot in the beach music area.
Right.
But the Beach Music Association International, I think, is one of those organizations that probably goes a little farther with the promotion, preservation, and education of beach music. And and I guess you say soul and R&B, rhythm and blues, because that's where it started. That was the roots of it.
That's a great point. And you've got a ton of Cammy awards yourself. Having even been the founder of that group, you were the recipient. You're still recognized by your peers.
Yes, fortunately enough, I did receive awards. It was quite embarrassing the first year because I won 6 or 7 awards the first year.
It was all independently judged, though.
And it was all independently judged. Yes, it was.
Sure.
And Curtis Carpenter, who was the co-founder, and I spoke to Curtis and I said, Curtis, it's not good for us to receive these awards. But I realized that the fans that showed up, because they voted on site.
Right there.
Right there. And I think that was an appreciation of us starting something of this nature.
Well, that's great. That's great.
So
as well as appreciation for your skill.
Absolutely. So Samuel Banyan of Mardi Gras mentioned to me when I called him, and I said, well, I felt so bad about it. He said, well, I tell you what, don't get used to it because it ain't going to happen again. So I said, well, thanks a lot. It probably won't. And it hasn't. So that was good. I mean, I would hate for that to happen. You know, credibility would have been shot, you know, that would have happened. So one thing that did have to happen was that we did pull ourselves out of the competition until I resigned. And just so happened the year that I resigned, I won some more awards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Billy, what's that like? We've just got a couple of minutes, and I want to talk for a minute about the performance this Sunday at Myrtle Beach High School. But I was just going to ask real quick, what's it like to perform? What's it like to be up on stage? I've seen you on stage in Conway. I've seen you in Myrtle. I've seen you in other places. What's that like to be on stage? You know, everyone's following you. They're watching you perform. And what's that like?
I never knew what I was doing before. And after a while, I knew that it takes a bit of acting along with vocalizing. And you have to dance, and you have to sing, and you have to captivate your audience, and you have to get them in the palm of your hand and hold them there. And in order to do that, see, people hear with their eyes a lot. Sometimes if you sing sour notes, they don't hear those notes because you're moving and you're making an impression on them, and they're following you, and you're dancing and you're doing things that they either can't do or won't do or are not accustomed to doing, and so you're the star. And it's amazing how the adrenaline that I get from performing, and it's the delivery. And then the reception that you get from the crowd, it's I don't know. I can't explain it. I really can't explain it. It's powerful.
And this Sunday you'll be performing at Myrtle Beach High School, 7 o'clock, as one of 3 beach legends.
Oh, God, let me tell you. Never, ever imagined this. Never, ever imagined performing in front of a symphony orchestra. And this will probably be the highlight of my career. Yeah, with Dr. Evans, and I thank everybody involved to make this happen for all 3 of us, because none of us have ever been in front of a symphony orchestra, and it's incredible.
We're visiting with a man who you truly hear with your ears and your eyes. Billy Scott of Billy Scott and the Prophets, one of 3 legends recognized this Sunday, the 16th at Myrtle Beach High School, 7 o'clock. Be there. Billy, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate the interview. Absolutely. I enjoyed it very, very much.
We'll get you back soon, hopefully.
Okay. Thank you.
Stay tuned for more Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're focused on the Long Bay Symphony presents the Legends of Beach Music, to be held at the Myrtle Beach High School this Sunday at 7 p.m. We're visiting with Jerry Fouts, a professional dancer and teacher with the U.S. Amateur Ballroom Dance Association. Good morning, Jerry. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Great. I'm glad I'm here.
Incredible opportunity all week to have highlighted some of the amazing beach music legends, folks that help them put shows on, the maestro of the Long Bay Symphony, and to wrap up the week with you to kind of highlight what so many folks don't think of and what they do think of when they think of beach music. So many folks think of shag dancing. And we want to review some of those perceptions of that, but also to talk a little bit about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
Well, my folks were teachers and we lived all over. But my first got exposed to beach music when I was 7 or 8 years old when my parents brought me to Myrtle Beach. And then they danced down at the pavilion, believe it or not, you know, out in the cement. And I was kind of fascinated with it, you know, when I was a little kid. And subsequently, I became interested in beach music, and I remember the first beach song I ever heard. You want to know what it is?
What?
60-Minute Man.
That's a song I've heard, too, yeah.
And, you know, they still play 60-Minute Man. I heard it 2 nights ago, so... Strange thing about shag, they take the same music and dance it over and over and never wears out, even though the new bands like the Fantastic Shakers and the Embers and these bands that have originated, they have their own, I guess, their own songs. But it all has basically the same beat, the original beat. You know?
When folks think of beach music and they think of shag music, is there really a difference between shag music and beach music?
To me, I've never heard any difference, you know. In fact, I've never heard people refer to music as shag music.
Okay.
You know, it's dance music or beach music. It's kind of interesting about the shag. When we were dancing and I was growing up, there was only 2 kinds of dancing, slow dancing and fast dancing. And shag was a little ticky-tacky step that the teacher taught when I was in about the 7th grade. And just do one thing over and over again. But so until they started having SOS, that was about 20 years ago. Up until that time, people said, let's dance. And they danced fast or they danced slow. But they did not say, let's go shag. That just wasn't done.
That's good to think of. I wouldn't have known that. What about you said it was age 8 or 9 when you were down here in Myrtle Beach with your folks, seeing them dance on the concrete.
Right.
Was that the first time when you started listening to beach music? Then was that the first time you started dancing?
Yeah, that was the inspiration. Then later on, I went up that same year or the next year. Somebody took me up to Carolina Beach. And they had a place there called Batson's Bathhouse. It was about as big as this studio. But these guys were dancing with these beautiful girls, and back then they all wore short shorts. And I was just amazed at it. And one thing that really inspired me to dance, there was a guy there named Charlie Boone. Charlie Boone, he's one of the icons of shag. Had very thick glasses. He later became a good friend of mine, but he was young and skinny and thin then. And he would dance, and all those beautiful girls were just all over him. I said, boy, this is something I want to learn right there.
So it was women that got you into dancing, Jerry.
Yeah, I believe that was it. That was one of the things. That was very inspirational to me. And so from that moment on, I even got a job at Carolina Beach, right around the corner from this shag place.
Right.
My mother would have had a heart attack had she known what I was doing working in Carolina Beach, but I was racking balls in the pool room so I could go right around and shag and learn to dance. So that's the way I got started.
That is amazing, Jerry. Now, did you always go to Myrtle Beach, or were there other beaches you would travel to dance?
Well, you know, I went to Carolina Beach and Myrtle Beach, and then when I was 14, I won the Louis Prima dance contest.
What was that?
And they gave me a big trophy. And his wife, Keely Smith, you may have heard of her. She's a singer with Louis Prima. she advised me to go to Miami Beach. She said, you'd love it down there. That's all they do is dance at Miami Beach. Well, as luck would have it, a few weeks later, I ran into this famous chef, Charlie Broke. And he was interested in dances. Well, come on, let's go to Miami Beach and I'll give you a job working at Miami Beach. So I went to Miami Beach, and the second day I was there, I met the Mambo Queen of Miami Beach. She was an ex-New York City policewoman, very beautiful. I was 14, she was 28.
Ooh.
And she thought I was real cute. So she took an interest in me and taught me the mambo and taught me the Latin dances. And so since I was about 14 years old, I've, of course, been dancing shag and Latin dancing, and I like them both. Whatever.
So you started dancing with your folks, and then later with Charlie Boone up in Carolina Beach, started dancing in Myrtle Beach, learning it, listening to beach music then traveling back throughout the Carolinas, winning that award, then being down at age 14 in Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get away from home at age 14, Jerry?
Well, my parents were very liberal. They were educators, and they trusted me.
And they trusted that chef, too, that carried you down there?
Yeah, he was a very nice fellow.
Right.
He advertised French's Mustard. If you ever saw those old ads, French's Mustard, and he had a big hat on. Nevertheless, and so I went to Miami Beach and got hooked up down there in the mambo craze.
Yeah.
And so every night we'd go from hotel to hotel to dance, and every Wednesday night we'd have the mambo dance contest. And people from New York and everywhere would fly down on Wednesday night at the Deauville Hotel, believe it or not, just for the mambo contest.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and they'd fly back in the morning. And we had a big time. And
now, did you ever win any of those contests?
I won the first one, so I won the first one that I entered. I won. So a guy named Gary and Linda, they ran the dance studio at the Deauville Hotel. So we became friends. So I started helping them, teaching there at the Deauville, and helping with the dance contest. And we gave these trophies out. They were this high. They would fight over these trophies. Incredible time. And Rosemary Clooney recently passed away, but her sister and brother-in-law, that was the band there, Pupi Campo, and she was the singer there, Betty Clooney. So those were great times. And, of course, I still went to Myrtle Beach dancing here and Carolina Beach occasionally, but that died out up there. And, I happen to know that, incidentally, this may be of interest, but I happen to know the icons, I think, of shag was Harry Driver. He's a famous dancer at Myrtle Beach. Charlie Boone and Nelson Burton. Those were the three main dancers when I was growing up. And I've never heard one of them say, let's shag.
They'd say, let's dance.
Yes, but when the SOS started, then they had to call it something, and then people reverted to say it's a shag convention. So I call it shag now, even though I find it a little hard to say shag even now.
And you can dance to virtually anything, Jerry.
Yes, I can.
Is there anything you can't dance to?
I can't think of anything.
That's a trick question. That's right. There's probably nothing out there.
I can't think of anything I can't dance to.
Well, obviously this week is all focused on beach music and on this Sunday's amazing performance at Myrtle Beach High School with the Long Bay Symphony. What are some of the dances you can dance to beach music, that you can dance to beach music? Well,
beach music, you can dance mambo, the salsa, cha-cha fits in perfectly with it. In fact, I go to Harold's and Ducks and H's, the new place at North Myrtle Beach. I go to 2001 quite a bit. And they're doing a lot of Latin dancing, and a lot of shaggers now are doing the cha-cha, throwing it in. A lot of shaggers, since the SOS started, there's swing dancers coming from out of the area, so they've gotten swing, shag, and cha-cha amalgamated it together. So there's lots of cha-cha and Latin dancing in the shag now. It makes it a little more interesting, a little more exciting.
On the screen this morning, Jerry, folks are seeing your name, Jerry Fouts, and professional dancer. What does that mean to be a professional dancer, and who the heck judges you? I mean, come on.
Well, anybody can say, well, I'm a dance teacher and teaching, but I went through the training programs at Arthur Murray Dance Studios and also Fred Astaire Dance Studios, and I learned both curriculums. And when I first went to Arthur Murray, And they trained, before you could get out and teach then, you had to have 1,000 hours of intensive training on how to teach people, how to dance, how to relate to them. And so consequently, I went through that training course and was certified as a teacher and taught with Arthur Murray. Mm-hmm. Later, Fred Astaire offered me a franchise, and I went with them. And as they say, the rest is history, but nevertheless, I know both curriculums. And so I'm certified really for Fred Astaire and Arthur Murray. Mm-hmm. I currently teach private lessons. I have a studio, of course, and also I teach for the United States Amateur Ballroom Dance Association.
Right.
That's a national nonprofit group that makes dance lessons affordable for everyone, only $8 a lesson. And there's a chapter probably in Florence or in every area.
Mm-hmm. If someone wanted to learn in their community here in the PD or up in Robinson, Scotland County, would there be a place? Would you be willing for people to contact you about trying to learn? Is there a place someone could go online, or could they call you?
Well, I have a website, ballroomaerobics.com. You can email me at mrdanceallnight@aol.com. Just one word, Mr. Dance All Night. I'll tell you where to call and everything. Mm-hmm. My phone number is 843-497-4758. 497-4758.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the numbers in Florence to call. And there's a national association anywhere in the country you can hook up. And you better learn to dance because it's a lot of fun. You can do that 365 days of the year. Bad weather, rain, snow, sleet, you can still dance, turn on the radio, go out dancing.
Absolutely. We're visiting with one of my close friends, Jerry Fouts, a professional dancer. I've got another multiple dozen litany of questions I'd love to ask Jerry and to share with all of y'all, but we're going to have to do that another time. Jerry, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Am I leaving already?
Golly, 15 minutes has flown by. Absolutely.
Okay,
just stay seated and we'll wrap up.
It's a lot of fun.
Thanks so much for being with us, y'all. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. Don't forget, Myrtle Beach High School Auditorium, this Sunday, 7 o'clock, 3 beach music legends perform in concert with the Long Bay Symphony. You better call ahead for tickets. Call 843-448-8379.